your source for Sabres hockey, community events, and now, news from the Jamestown area from WKSN News Center.
From candy to collectibles, nutcrackers to nativities. You'll find it all at the Victorian Christmas and Candy House, the area's year-round joy of the holiday season, on the corner of Fairmont Avenue and Southwestern Drive.
It's state-of-the-art insulation today. Bibs, blown-in blanket system. Smith's Insulation now offers this patented new system that mixes a thin coating of adhesive to the insulation. Bibs solves conventional insulation problems like air gaps, wiring, and plumbing. And with its adhesive, blown-in blanket eliminates settling. Smith's Insulation is the only certified contractor in the area to install the Bibs system. So use state-of-the-art insulation today. Call Smith's at 665-4588.
A little accident can cause a lot of trouble getting in Dutch on Dutch Hollow Road, and a natural association for the new president of the Roger Tory Peterson Institute. Good evening. This is WKSN News Center. Tim Johnson reporting. Now, a minor accident turned into a major headache for heavily traveled Route 430 today. A portion of the road near Greenhurst was closed for hours after a utility pole fell across the road. The mishap occurred on the Dutch Hollow Road off of 430. A car ran into a utility pole, the driver not seriously hurt, but what fire companies were left with was a pole with live wires laying across the road. Niagara Mohawk workers from northern Chautauqua County had to be called in to clean up the mess, and drivers had to be routed onto detours. A stretch of 430 was closed at around 4 this afternoon and remained closed for hours. Members of a West Ellicott citizens group opposed to the widening of Route 394 to 5 lanes traveled to Albany today. Representatives met with officials from the Federal Highway Administration and State Transportation Department. Spokesman Alan Hendrickson says safety was the main focus of the meeting. The citizens group says the proposed 5-lane design is like putting a super highway through West Ellicott. Hendrickson says the federal agency, which is funding 80% of the work, did seem impressed with some of the group's arguments, including a contention that left-turn accidents are more likely to result. The State Transportation Department has consistently backed the 5-lane design, contending it is safe and will move traffic along the arterial. Hendrickson says the Federal Highway Administration will be studying his group's concerns. An odyssey in the Soviet Union is about to begin for a 300-member delegation representing Chautauqua Institution. The participants in the Chautauqua Conference in Tbilisi in Soviet Georgia arrive in Washington tomorrow. The group will gather for an afternoon briefing and then an evening reception at the Soviet Embassy. The flight to Leningrad leaves Thursday afternoon. From Thursday to Sunday, the group will tour Leningrad, including the Tsar's Winter Palace. On Sunday, the delegation arrives in Tbilisi for a conference that will last till Friday. On Saturday the 24th, the delegation heads to Moscow for 3 days of sightseeing. I will be reporting on the activities of the delegation with reports on WKSN Radio, and I'll have a special television report when I return to this air on September 28th. Jamestown could become an international center for environmental education. That's the goal of the new president of the Roger Tory Peterson Institute for Natural History. But for Jeffrey Benjamin Froke, the Institute's mission will be highly personalized to get more of us, especially children, attached to our natural surroundings.
There's a bonding, per se, that goes on between kids and nature. And if this bonding occurs at an early age, at the right time, when they're so impressionable and they're really learning about whatever world it is around them, that's going to carry forward into their adult life. And that's what's going to help them become joyous and knowledgeable of the world around them and better caretakers as well. And we all need to be better caretakers.
Froke comes to Jamestown from Orange County, California, where he managed a large Audubon sanctuary. He says it's a dream come true to help spread the message of Roger Tory Peterson, a Jamestown native who is a world-renowned naturalist and bird expert. Chautauqua County Council on Alcoholism will have to come up with $52,000 for county government. Comptroller Joseph Lepkowski says that money should be repaid. He conducted an audit for the years 1982 to 1986 and has concluded the county overpaid the agency for its services. Pepkowski says the agency inadvertently recorded voluntary contributions as program expenses. Pepkowski pointed out what he called other weaknesses. He says the current staff is doing a competent job, but says the council should negotiate an agreement to pay back the $52,000. Western New York Congressman Jack Kemp has found something to do when he leaves Capitol Hill. Kemp will be joining a conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, in January. He will lecture, write articles, and work with policy analysis at the foundation. The conservative Republican decided not to run for re-election to his Buffalo area seat when he launched his unsuccessful bid for the presidency. The next leader of the state Senate may well be Republican Ralph Marino of Long Island. Some upstate Republicans who refuse to be quoted directly are saying Marino has enough support north of New York City to claim that powerful position. Now, Western New York senator says Marino has the job locked up, but a spokesman for a rival, Senator John Dunn, says it's too early to say that. Warren Anderson is retiring as majority leader of the Senate. The explosion of the Space Shuttle Challenger virtually grounded the U.S. space program for 2 years, but new hopes will go up with the Discovery. A preview of the Discovery mission was held tonight at Jamestown Community College. Joseph Minorovich of the JCC Aviation Institute discussed the evolution of the manned space program since the Challenger disaster in 1986. NASA has instituted changes in design and procedures for the Discovery mission. Purpose of the seminar, to make Jamestown more launch literate when the Discovery lifts off. Coming up next on WKSN News Center, business as usual at Blackstone for now, and fire forces 2 families from a West Side home.
The number of accidents caused by cars that go out of control is staggering. Fortunately, more people are surviving these accidents because they're wearing seatbelts. But just consider how many people might have avoided accidents if their cars had the added traction of four-wheel drive. You see, the only thing better than getting out of here alive is never getting in here in the first place.
The next time you pour a cold glass of fresh, delicious Seal Test milk, remember this. That milk comes from a farm right here in Western New York. That's right. Seal Test milk is locally produced, so when you buy Seal Test milk, you know you're buying fresh milk. Get the best for your family, Seal Test milk. And don't forget these other fine Seal Test products available at your favorite store. Seal Test milk from Upstate Milk Cooperatives, your hometown Seal Test Dairy.
2 families on Jamestown's west side were smoked out of their house today. Fire broke out in the back of a 2-family residence at 238 Hall Avenue. Firefighters beat the flames back and prevented them from spreading throughout the house, but smoke did seep throughout that structure.
We got a crew in this window and up the stairway and pushed the fire back and kept it toward the back of the house. Got a heavy smoke damage throughout the top, but all the fire was confined to the back half of the house.
The 2 families in the home have received assistance from the Jamestown chapter of the Red Cross. Fire investigators believe the blaze was started by children playing with matches. For the 3rd full day, a search for an escaped inmate in Cattaraugus County has proved fruitless. Authorities searched by land and air as they did yesterday for Patrick Henry Prile. The 43-year-old was being held for attempted rape and is considered dangerous. He slipped out of a kitchen door at the jail in Little Valley. He was outside his cell because of his trustee status. There have been several reported sightings of the fugitives, but authorities have not yet been able to find Prile. Blackstone Corporation's new parent firm has a history of allowing companies to run themselves. That's what a spokesman for Armtech Incorporated says. Armtech has agreed to a takeover overture from Mark IV Industries of suburban Buffalo. With the acquisition, Mark IV becomes Western New York's only Fortune 500 company. Mark IV executives traveled to Armtech headquarters in New Haven, Connecticut today to discuss the union. It was just a few years ago that Reginald Linnaeus sold Blackstone to Armtech, then known as Armstrong Tire. At least for the short term, Armtech spokesman Robert Jones tells WKSN News Center to expect business as usual at one of Jamestown's largest employers. An early warning about higher tuition has riled up students in the state university system. A student leader says New York is going to put college beyond the financial means of low-income students. SUNY Chancellor Bruce Johnstone has warned of tuition hikes and campus closings if the system does not get additional support from the state. New York is running a $1 billion deficit and doesn't yet know just what it will be able to afford next year. State officials and business people say New York could benefit greatly from a proposed free trade pact between the U.S. and Canada. At a state assembly hearing in Buffalo today, Speaker said that New York is well placed to expand exports and become a trade gateway to Canada. The state does $15 billion in trade with Canada, more than any other state or country. The agreement still must be approved by the U.S. Congress and Canadian Parliament. Well, the highs and lows of the lottery. For Highway Superintendent in Eastern New York, that weekly paycheck isn't quite so important anymore. Grant Seymour of Schuylerville learned he won $2 million in the lotto game Sunday. He'll get 21 payments of $95,000 minus the taxes that, among other things, help pay for his government salary. Well, in Pennsylvania, a man pleaded guilty today to trying to falsely claim a $15 million lottery prize. 33-year-old Mark Herbst of the Harrisburg area admitted he helped a doctor a ticket. He could get 3.5 to 7 years for letting greed get the best of him. The lotto prize was about to be returned to the state, though it was claimed in the nick of time by a New Jersey couple. One other man is charged in that scheme. The Expos season is over, but a nationwide audience was able to see Jamestown this evening. A touching clinic involving the Expos and the Resource Center softball team was aired on a sports show on ESPN, a cable sports channel. The segment showed a clinic the Expos held and the nighttime exhibition that was held with the players. What makes this piece extra special for us is that WKSN News Center cameraman Bob Charleboy was responsible for the pictures, while WKSN air personality Ann Farrell, who is a Resource Center employee as well, produced the piece. Coming up next on WKSN News Center, the chase continues in the AL East.
The action is back on ESPN with 13 NFL Sunday night games beginning August 7th. And now your business can advertise right along with major companies during this primetime powerhouse. Sunday Night Football on ESPN is the highest rated program in cable history. And with that many viewers, your commercials certainly won't be missed. So don't miss out. Join our many satisfied customers on ESPN's NFL Football. It's easy. Give us a call at Paragon Cable 664-3340.
All the teams involved in the American League East race were in action tonight. Boston hosted Baltimore, while Detroit was in Toronto. New York visited Cleveland, and the Brewers were in Chicago. In the National League East, the Mets had a chance to reduce their magic number some more as they hosted Pittsburgh. Buffalo Bills will be getting into their game plan tomorrow for Sunday's contest against the Patriots in New England. Bills had today off, and many of the players took advantage of that to get in a round of golf and a charity event in the Buffalo area. Tomorrow, all thoughts will be back on football, as the Bills will be meeting another divisional rival. Buffalo enters 2-0. The Pats are 1-1. The NFL stat sheet is out for the first 2 weeks, and it shows the Bills' Andre Reed leading all receivers with 16 catches. Touchdown leaders are both from the AFC West. Marcus Allen of the Raiders and Kurt Warner of the Seahawks have hit pay dirt 4 times. Kicking leader is Washington's Chip Lowmiller with 20 points and 5 field goals and 5 conversions. Herschel Walker of the Cowboys, the leading rusher with 228 yards. The Bears' Neil Anderson second. Saints' Bobby Airbear is the top quarterback in the NFC, while Boomer Esiason of the Bengals had that honor in the NFC. Another camp news, John Giesler back with the Dolphins. The veteran offensive tackle ended his holdout by signing a 2-year deal. And unhappy with his playing time, Saints running back Barry Ward is retired. 24-year-old plans to pursue his undergraduate studies at the University of Virginia. Former Kansas City Chiefs coach Hank Stram is listed in stable condition at an Indianapolis hospital after undergoing open heart surgery. 65-year-old CBS color analyst had a narrowing aortic valve replaced by an artificial one. Buffalo Sabres will be practicing in the evening the next 2 nights. The club, getting ready for its first preseason game, has been starting practice in the morning, but both sessions tomorrow and Thursday will be held from 6 till 9 at Saberland. They're open to the public. Sabres begin preseason play this Sunday evening against Washington. The Minnesota North Stars have taken the latest shot in the contract battle with Dino Ciccarelli. The club has suspended the holdout winger. Ciccarelli earlier had demanded a trade. U.S. Open champ Mats Wilander has dropped out of the Olympics. The Swedish news agency is reporting that Wilander is skipping the games because of problems with shin splints. Doctors have advised him to rest the condition to prevent it from getting worse. Even though the 1988 Summer Games will begin later this week, a big question in the minds of the International Olympic Committee is where will the 1994 Winter Games be held? Bids will be presented tomorrow by Anchorage, Alaska, Sofia, Bulgaria, Östersund, Sweden, and Lillehammer, Norway. The vote will be taken on Thursday. A comfortable fall week is ahead of us with pleasant temperatures and mostly sunny skies. Our news center camera is out and about tonight. Well, the fair weather is covering upstate New York. We're looking at several days with temperatures approaching 70 in the daytime and nighttime sleeping temperatures in the 45-degree range. Our high today was 68 and our low was 51. Here's your forecast. Partly cloudy tonight, a low of 45. Sunny intervals tomorrow with a high of 70. Mainly clear tomorrow night, a low of 45. And sunny on Thursday with a high of 70. And you can take a look at your sunrise and sunset times for tomorrow. Now let's take a look ahead. Mostly sunny on Friday with a high of 70. Chance of a shower Saturday, the high 75. And on Sunday, periods of rain, the high 75. That's what made news in the Jamestown area today. Tomorrow, I leave for the 2-week Chautauqua Conference in the Soviet Union. Dan Fisher will be here at the anchor desk while I'm gone. I'll see you again Wednesday, September 28th. I'm Tim Johnson. Be talking to you from Russia.